The following is an exclusive presentation of the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the AHSAA Radio Network.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Inside the AHSAA. I'm your host, Luke Robinson. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate your time. Got a couple of great guests today. John Garcia Jr. will be on to talk about a couple of the recent in-state commits, one to Alabama, one to Auburn, both from the Mobile area. And then we're also going to have Mark Jones, the Director of Officiating for the AHSAA. He's going to be on to talk about instant replay, which will be instituted this next year in football. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how this works out because it's gotten some interesting reviews, I think, so far, and it's going to be interesting to see how this works out for high school football next year. Let's hope it works out really well. We'll be back in just a minute to get the show started.
The CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
No, wrong! Bring it in, guys! Take a knee! Let's go over this again. Who starts off with a real Coke taste? Coca-Cola! And then Coca-Cola pitches the real Coke taste to who? Coca-Cola! How is Coca-Cola going to give real Coke taste to itself? Take a lap, genius! Coca-Cola takes a snap and then pitches the real Coke taste to Coke Zero running up on the right. You got it? Yeah! At that point, we fake punt the real Coke taste. Who fakes the punt?
Coke Zero Cola.
Take a lap! Coke Zero! Real Coke taste!
0 calories!
Hunter Price is Coosa County's Alpha Insurance agent and has the knowledge to help you with all your auto, home, and life insurance needs. With Hunter and Alpha Insurance, you have a team of professionals to access your needs, save money, and give you the personal one-on-one service in your time of need. Visit our main branch in downtown Rockford or call us at 256-377-4955 for all your insurance needs.
Call Alpha. We are Russell Medical, and this is our corner of the world, where families discover nurses and doctors as excellent as any in the state, and the embrace of world-class care is as close to home as a trip to the grocery store, where the continuity of care isn't lost in exhausting miles of road, but just down the street. We are Russell Medical, and this is our corner of the world.
Hey everybody again, and welcome back to Inside the AHSAA. I want to welcome in now a guy that doesn't need much introduction for Inside the AHSAA or any of the programming we work with on Sports Blitz because he's joined us so many times. We get to see him all the time at the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Game or the Alabama State Championships in football. Mr. John Garcia with 24/7 Sports. John, how you doing today?
Doing well, Luke. How about yourself?
Doing great, and a couple of big days, or really just one big 24-hour period, I should say, for some kids down in the Mobile area. Christian Williams, and then of course, Cordell Flott. One commits to Alabama, one commits to Auburn. I want you to go ahead and tell us about these two young men.
Yeah, both cornerbacks as well. So a couple of guys who, their recruitments were a bit, opposites. I think Christian Williams, for a long time, Alabama has felt strongly. This is a kid who grew up a big Bama fan. And in the last few weeks, it really seemed like a matter of when and not if he would kind of jump on board. And then with Cordell Flott, kind of a different scenario. This is a kid who blew up much more recently in terms of adding scholarship offers. Christian Williams probably over the last 6 months built his offer list. Flott, it's really been over the last couple of months, really since the end of the season into 2018. And there was a certain period where he added probably a dozen offers in maybe 2 weeks. And within that, Auburn had jumped in with the scholarship offer for him. He took a ton of visits and really got a good look at all of his contenders. He visited Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, Ole Miss, and kind of surprised this morning with a commitment to Auburn just after naming Florida his leader. So there was a little bit more back and forth with Flott, but to our understanding, Auburn was very consistent with him and obviously got it done to land one of the top cornerbacks in the state. They're two different players as well. I think Williams, a little bit bigger, a little bit more of a conventional, Nick Saban type of corner, 6'1", good speed, good physicality. I think Flott is a little bit more smoother, a little bit longer, maybe a little bit faster as well. So there's an interesting, comparison between these guys, and it's probably something we're going to talk about a good bit going forward since they're from the same area, play the same position, and committed to each Iron Bowl side within 24 hours of one another. Pretty cool.
It is very cool, and that Mobile area always so rich in talent. And one other thing about Williams, you talked about Flott maybe being a little faster. That probably coincides with what I heard about Williams, that he's just so athletic. He's a big-time basketball player as well. Our friend Corey LeBounty down in the Mobile area has seen him play a few times, and that sometimes translates pretty well to the next level.
Yeah, and I think that's where he might have a bit more of an advantage over Flott, just in terms of the overall athleticism, lateral ability, polish, ball skills, really. Both guys play wide receiver and return kicks as well, so both guys are really kind of plus athletes and good in the ball skills department. But I think Williams has a little bit more range at this point. But again, both of these guys have a whole year before they're on a college campus, before they're on these Iron Bowl campuses. So it'll be interesting to see where they go next, where they work to improve upon. I think both guys could stand to hit the weight room, fill out a little bit more, and you never know, depending on how guys fill out, what compensates for that. That could say a lot for their positions and their ability, and of course their chances at playing early at these big-time schools.
Who's making the biggest moves in state? I know 24/7 updated their rankings here lately. Who in the state of Alabama has moved up the rankings, and maybe on the other end, who's taken a bit of a tumble?
Well, cornerback's kind of the theme, so let's go to Jaden Hill, kid out of North Alabama, the top end of the state. Bob Jones High School in Madison. This is a kid that we really liked on tape as a junior, made a lot of plays with the football in the air, just really quick. It seemed like his reaction time and instincts were among the best in the state, but where we were a little more curious was his speed and his size, because we hadn't gotten eyes on him over the last several months. Well, he goes to the opening Atlanta on a cold day in the 40s, and he runs a rock-solid 4.540 laser time, and he measures in at 6 foot. So now, all of a sudden, those two question marks are alleviated, and in addition to that, he puts in a really good performance against the always talented crop of prospects who flock to Atlanta, which include kids from Tennessee, Alabama, the Carolinas, even from Florida at times. So you put on a show at the opening Atlanta, and you test well on top of it, you're going to get some love. Again, we already liked his tape. We just wanted to kind of validate a couple things, so he went from a high 3-star to a pretty high 4-star in a short amount of time. He's now among the top 200 prospects in the country on 24/7 Sports. So as you can tell, it's a really good cornerback year in the state of Alabama, literally from the top to the bottom. A guy who's on maybe the flip side of that is similar. Triquez Bridges, we're still curious about him. He plays so many positions for Lynette High School, which we saw win a state championship. He's a receiver. He's a defensive back. He's a great basketball player. He's a long, lean kid, but he really hasn't been asked to play kind of that true free safety that we think he's going to play at the next level. He's such a good athlete, kind of like we talk about with Christian Williams, that he moves all over a defense and he makes plays all over a defense. So there's just not as much information out about Bridges as a pure safety, which at 6'3", 180 is kind of where he's destined to play. We don't know if he runs well enough to play cornerback at the SEC level. So he's one who took a bit of a dip, but it's more about curiosity. It's more about us needing to look into him just a little bit more with those pure safety skills. And that's, he's a good example of projection. It's a tough business because we have to project the kid at a certain position, but sometimes there's a bit of an incomplete grade with certain important aspects of these positions. But DBs are always guys who move around a lot in the rankings, and I think there's still plenty of movement to be done.
Well, John, thank you so much for joining us on late notice, buddy. You're always on call, and you're always very receptive, and you always bring a lot of great information. Thanks again for being with us today.
That was my pleasure, Luke. Thanks.
John Garcia with 24/7 Sports, really one of the best in the business, and he always has such great information. Go check out his podcast, too. It's phenomenal. Crimson and Blue Chips. It's CABC Pod, I believe, on Twitter. Go check it out. It's really chock full of information. You don't have to be an Alabama fan. It tells you all about kids around the Southeast, but specifically in Alabama usually. We'll be back in just a minute with more Inside the AHSAA.
Team is not something you do alone. Team is plural. Team is arms, legs, blood, sweat, and soul. A lot goes into team. But what we take away stays with us forever.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
More heart.
More drive. More will.
More guts.
More sweat.
More dedication.
More practice. More control.
More clutch.
More hard work.
More fun.
More family.
More love.
More basketball.
Baseball.
College tennis.
More every day.
More everything. More
to come.
More Wilson.
There is a strength inside you, unknown and imperfect, waiting. And when you think you have nothing left to give, when each obstacle in your path is more formidable than the last, that's when you'll find it. And with that strength, your greatness will have no limits.
Take a knee. Let's go over this again. Who starts off with a real Coke taste? Coca-Cola! And then Coca-Cola pitches the real Coke taste to who? Coca-Cola! How is Coca-Cola going to give real Coke taste to itself? Take a lap, genius! Coca-Cola takes a snap and then pitches the real Coke taste to Coke Zero running up on the right. You got it? Yeah! At that point, we fake punt the real Coke taste. Who fakes the punt?
Coke Zero Cola.
Take a lap! Coke Zero. Real Coke taste.
0 calorie.
Where there's action, there's Encore. Professional. Responsive. Dedicated. Encore Rehabilitation.
There is a strength inside you, unknown and imperfect, waiting. And when you think you have nothing left to give, when each obstacle in your path is more formidable than the last, that's when you'll find it. And with that strength, your greatness will have no limits.
We are Russell Medical, and this is our corner of the world, where families discover nurses and doctors as excellent as any in the state. And the embrace of world-class care is as close to home as a trip to the grocery store, where the continuity of care isn't lost in exhausting miles of road, but just down the street. We are Russell Medical, and this is our corner of the world.
Welcome back to Inside the AHSAA. I want to welcome in now Mr. Mark Jones, who's the director of the AHSAA Officials Group. And big news out of the AHSAA recently. Instant replay will be instituted in most games, I'll say, this upcoming season. And from my understanding, this will be a 3-year trial period. But I want to bring Mark Jones on to talk about instant replay because I'm sure there are a lot of questions out there. Mark, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great, Luke. I appreciate you having me on. We're really excited about instant replay and just anxious to get it going.
So what was the impetus behind this? I know instant replay certainly has been in the NFL for quite some time. It's also been in college now for what seems like forever. What though, was the deciding factor that the AHSAA is going to do instant replay and it's going to do it this year?
Well, actually, the AHSAA has been trying to do it for several years since. In 2013, High School National Federation put in a rule where teams, coaches could use video replay on the sideline from a coaching standpoint. So at that point in time, they were able to replay and they could see if a call was missed or not, but all they could do is tell the official the video showed that you missed that and the official couldn't look at it. So at that time, Greg Brewer, who was in this position before me, and Coach Salvarez, looked into the possibility of doing instant replay then to give the official the opportunity to correct egregious calls. And at that time, the National Federation did not allow an experiment. And this past year, Minnesota and New Jersey got the opportunity or permission to use it in their championship games. And so once we found that out, because we'd been trying for a couple of years, we asked for permission and we want to use it throughout the entire season. And so we got it this season. So it's been a work in progress.
How has the decision been received by both coaches and by other officials?
The majority of both are excited and like it. There's always people that are resistant to change and scared of change. So you've got a few on both sides that are resistant to it. From the official standpoint, though, and I want to make sure everybody understands that it is to benefit the official. It's not to show up the officials, but to benefit the official. And I always use the analogy of Jim Joyce, the Major League Baseball umpire that missed the call at first base, what would have been a perfect game. Had they had instant replay at that time in Major League Baseball, nobody would remember that call was missed because it would have been corrected and it'd been a perfect game. But instead, that game is remembered.
Certainly that is a good point. Now, one thing, though, we should talk about is the fact that not every school is going to have instant replay, right? Can you tell us about how that's going to work statewide?
Yes, it is optional. It is optional, and if either school has it, preference is given to the home school to have it because we're going with a wired system versus a wireless system. And if either school has it, if the home team doesn't have it, if the visiting team purchased the equipment, they could bring that with them on the road, and as long as they could get it connected based on our specifications, we could utilize their equipment. But now both teams would get the advantage of the instant replay. It's not just the team that has it gets the opportunity to have instant replay. both teams would be playing under the same set of rules to where they'd have 2 challenges each.
And Mark, my understanding is a coach has effectively 2 challenges they can get incorrect. But if they challenge and continue to challenge and each challenge is overturned, then they could, in theory, have unlimited challenges. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. And we talked about the possibility of only having 2 and period, whether you got them right or not. But I don't think that would be fair to a coach that has to question whether or not turning the ball over on downs is big enough of a challenge in the first or second quarter, or should he save it just in case something happens in the fourth quarter when he knows that it's fairly obvious that video could correct it. So we went basically with a 2-strike theory.
Do you think coaches will be able to see the replay first and then challenge? Will they have enough time to act on something that they think is egregious?
They need to be really quick. I mean, as long as they stop play or throw their flag prior to the next snap, they have enough time. So it just depends on the pace of the game and the call itself. So it is possible and that's the whole reason for us getting instant replay, is they had that opportunity already to look at it and see if a call was missed or not. Well, of course, that's not the reason that they've been using it on the sideline. 99% of the time they're using it for coaching and teaching, but they could also see whether or not a call was missed.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for being with us and clearing up some of the issues that maybe a lot of people had, or some of the questions, I should say, about instant replay. We look forward to having it instituted this year and seeing what the results are. It's going to be an interesting 3 years with instant replay here in this trial period. We appreciate your time, Mark.
Thank you very much for having me on, and you have a good day.
You too, Mark. Thank you so much again. That was Mark Jones, the Director of Officiating for the AHSAA. He does a tremendous job. Everybody at the AHSAA does a tremendous job. It's maybe the best high school organization in the entire United States, and I'm not being hyperbolic here. I truly believe that. I've been able to work with a lot of those folks, and they know exactly what's going on and what exactly it takes to improve every sport in high school here in the state of Alabama. We'll be back in just a minute to wrap the show up.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization, wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat, full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma, all with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com, 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
No, wrong! Bring it in, guys! Take a knee! Let's go over this again. Who starts off with a real Coke taste?
Coca-Cola!
And then Coca-Cola pitches the real Coke taste to who?
Coca-Cola!
How is Coca-Cola going to give a real Coke taste to itself? Take a lap, genius! Coca-Cola takes the snap and then pitches the real Coke taste to Coke Zero running up on the right. You got it?
Yeah!
At that point, we fake punt the real Coke taste. Who fakes the punt?
Coke Zero Cola!
Take a lap! Coke Zero! Real Coke taste!
0 calories!
June will mark 10 years of providing quality t-shirts, athletic uniforms, and promotional products for Lee Apparel. Our success is due in large part to the customers we serve in the Lake Martin community and the great state of Alabama. Our hopes are for many more years of success and growth. Contact Lee Apparel today at 256-825-0197 or on the web at leeapparel.com.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
Where there's action, there's Encore. Professional. Responsive. Dedicated. Encore Rehabilitation.
Team is not something you do alone. Team is plural. Team is arms, legs, blood, sweat, and soul. A lot goes into team. But what we take away stays with us forever.
Hunter Price is Coosa County's Alpha Insurance agent and has the knowledge to help you with all your auto, home, and life insurance needs. With Hunter and Alpha Insurance, you have a team of professionals to access your needs, save money, and give you the personal one-on-one service in your time of need. Visit our main branch in downtown Rockford or call us at 256-377-4955 for all your insurance needs.
Call Alpha.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Inside the AHSAA. As always, we appreciate your being with us. Today, whatever time you're watching this program or whatever time you're listening to it, we do appreciate you each and every week. We always try to have great guests, and we did today. Mark Jones, the Director of AHSAA Officiating, as well as John Garcia, Jr., who is on with us several times during the year. He knows everything about recruiting in the Southeast with 24/7 Sports. Again, thank you so much for being with us, and we'll catch you next week on Inside the AHSAA.